Helen.
And I'm Liz.
And we're sisters,
scientists,
and lifelong X-Files fans.
And this is We Want to Believe.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We have a special episode today.
Yeah, we are joined by Courtney of That Nostalgia podcast, which is also a podcast with two sisters watching the X-Files and talking about the episodes. So how could we not have a collaboration? Courtney, you can introduce yourself and maybe tell us about, I'm curious how you two decided to start doing the podcast and how you chose the X-Files as your first show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am the co-host of That Nostalgia show, which is done by me and my sister. So we are a rewatch / first time watch podcast. I have seen the X-Files multiple times before, and my sister has never seen it. So she's going through it for the first time, and we are spoiler free. So how do we get started with it? Hannah, so my sister, her name is Hannah. She is a massive film TV nerd. She went to film school and she currently works in television and is also an assistant director for some films in Toronto, in Canada, because we are in Canada. And so she and I, that's what a lot of our conversations used to be about, was just whatever TV show we happened to be watching at the time. And she would go in depth with here's what techniques are really cool. Here's things that the show does that other shows don't do. And then I don't know. I am a science girl. I am not a film person. So I don't know that stuff, but the X-Files kind of felt like a good mesh of those two things, because for one thing, the X-Files was revolutionary in television. It changed a lot of techniques. It also created some labor laws after what David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson went through, and a lot of cliches and tropes and things like that exist in not just sci-fi, just kind of across the board, started with the X-Files. And then also, because it's a science fiction show, I can kind of bring my science background into a lot of our discussions. So it just felt like a really natural blend of our interests. Ideally, our show, once we're done the X-Files, is going to continue with 90s television, kind of just to build on where did a lot of this stuff come from?
Do you have any thoughts on what you'll watch next, or is that still too far away?
We have a few. We've thrown a few ideas around, but we are so far away from doing another show because we're only on season 4, and we're going to do the revival as well of the X-Files. Yeah. So we have so many seasons to go.
You got 7 seasons left, yeah, plus movies, yeah.
Now, I think you guys are slightly ahead of us. So, because we're talking about Leonard Betts today. And where are you guys in season 4 right now?
So, I think recording-wise, we're actually very similar places. But Hannah and I record quite a bit in advance. Not quite a bit, a couple of months in advance, just based off of the fact that our schedules don't always line up. So, our most recent episode that was released was... So we do 2 episodes per discussion. So it was episodes 4 and 5. So that'd be Unruha, and what's after Unruha? The Field Where I Died is what was just released. Yeah.
Nice. Got it. And then, and you're recording in advance, so you're past us there. But if people listen right when it comes out, they'll have earlier episodes.
Yeah, so it's really funny because when we first talked about this collaboration, I was like, oh, we are in the exact same spot recording-wise. Yeah. But our discussion on Leonard we've already recorded it, but it's not going to come out until end of January, beginning of February.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Yeah, that's nice. You've just watched it, though. So you have plenty, and you can bring some...
The time was perfect. I only had to take notes once.
Yeah, and you can, since Hannah can't be here today, you can kind of bring some of her thoughts in if you remember them.
Yeah, and also talk about how it connects to the future of the series, because that's one thing that our podcast is lacking. There'll be times when I'm like, ooh, this comes back, but I can't say that.
Yeah.
Yes. Now... First, we've been doing an X-Files villain bracket. And so we have to discuss, before we get to the episode, we need to discuss that. And today's was Leonard Betts and who, Liz?
Cecil Lively. I actually think we should wait till the end because then we will have laid out what Leonard Betts does, and I think it makes more sense.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to talk about Cecil Lively from Fire. I just recently re-listened to our episode talking about Fire. Because that seemed I was driving and I can't watch TV while driving. I don't know. So I was listening to that episode to remind myself of all of Cecil's powers. One thing that it reminded me of, though, is that I've been saying Cecil, and you corrected me back on that episode of our podcast, and so I need correcting myself again now.
Cecil.
Cecil.
Cecil. Okay. All right.
Cecil.
All right.
And that was, if you're interested, that was our episode called Aristocracy. It was episode 13 of our podcast.
Wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah.
So so we'll mull that over then as I talk about the episode, and we can discuss Cecil Lively versus Leonard Betts.
And before we get going, I just had a quick thing I wanted to share about, just related to something that I think has gotten brought up on our podcast before. I am reading a book that I want to recommend because it's really good. It's called The Bewitching, and it is by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I've been telling Helen how much I'm enjoying it. But one thing that happens in it is something that I had talked about, how is there not something in TV or movies or a book where something scary happens with stacks at a library where where they're close together and you have to like wheel them and separate them. And I'm like, how is somebody not going to get squished in one of those and killed or almost killed in like a scary moment? And there's a scary scene set in those research stacks at a university in the 90s in that book.
Great.
Yeah, I was quite excited.
Actually, in terms of related book recommendations, I am almost done with The Vampires of El Norte, which is by, I can't think of the author's name.
Isabel something.
Cañas?
Yeah.
Okay. And our last episode was El Mundo Gira, and this has like big what I wish El Mundo Gira vibes were.
Yes. Right? 100%. You're so right.
Like if you're like, no, I wanted something set in Mexico that actually had to do with local mythology, but was better than the episode. I don't know, Courtney, if you have thoughts about El Mundo Gira. We didn't love it as an episode itself. We wanted more chupacabra fungus.
That was kind of our takeaway too. We were like, the episode itself isn't objectively terrible, but we weren't sure why the chupacabra was even there because it just didn't really connect to the rest of what was happening. It felt like they just wanted to tell a story about like this fungus, and then for some reason the chupacabra was also present.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. So the Vampires of El Norte is like what I wanted that to be. So
okay,
highly recommend.
I'm gonna have to put that on my radar.
It was
it's great. And it takes place in the early-ish 1800s in northern Mexico and has vampires, has history, has adventure, has romance. When I was reading it, I think it was before I watched El Mundo Gira or rewatched it. And I had thought, I wonder if they'll mention El Chupacabra. But then after doing research about chupacabras, now I see why they didn't, because they did not become a thing until the 70s. So they didn't have them in Mexico back then.
Oh, that's interesting. So my research said the 90s. I didn't realize it was the 70s. So we'll do a correction on our podcast.
No, not a correction, because the first named instance was in 1995, but the first creature that is doing this was recorded in the 70s, and then they kind of said, we call this El Chupacabra and recognize it as one specific type of monster in the 90s. So
I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but either way, very recent, shockingly recent.
Very recent.
Yeah.
See, I was actually a little less appalled with them using it badly when I was like, well, this thing's been around for 2 years, as opposed to when they use things that are like established in culture and really important. That's when I get like more upset with it. Chupacabra, I was like, well, I guess this thing has only been around for 2 years. You're probably not insulting anybody's heritage.
Yeah, it's so new that maybe it was a fungus. We haven't decided yet.
Actually, you know what? Good point. Maybe it was.
Okay, so today we're talking about Leonard Betts. And we open in Pittsburgh, and we've got some people in an ambulance. You look like you're going to say something, Liz, or you just
I typically don't watch episodes, rewatch them that you watched, but I did this time because I wanted to be ready to talk about the Betts v. Lively fight.
Got it.
I did just watch this, and I just want to say, holy cow, this is a disgusting episode.
Really? You thought so?
You didn't think so?
No, but Courtney, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Liz and I are on very different spectrums of what grosses us out. Or on the same spectrum at very different ends.
Yeah, I think I am more in line with you, Helen, because my background, I think I said this on our podcast, but just to spell it out for your listeners, I have a Bachelor of Science in Biology and Psychology, and then I have a Master of Public Health. So like medical type stuff doesn't tend to gross me out much. Like I'm not a clinician, but I do work in healthcare. So that sort of stuff I don't find super gross.
Yeah.
If I teach physics, and I like physics because it's not gross.
Yeah, I am hard to gross out. I just felt, I was focused on the bad science involved. And so maybe that makes it less gross for me because I'm going like, what are you talking about?
And I was just like, oh, that's so much goo. So much goo.
There was a lot of goo.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a lot of goo.
Yeah. It was kind of gross. I mean, like, I don't know. I wouldn't have voluntarily.
I mean, the man regrew a head out of his other head.
Yeah, that scene was gross.
Anyway, I should let you talk about the plot so we can get to the wonderful head growing scene.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh paramedics in an ambulance. He's like very good at his job. It shows him like diagnosing the patient and like knowing exactly what's wrong. His partner is driving and he's the one in the back, and is like being really specific about, you know, why she has this wrong with her, things that you wouldn't just know just being like a normal paramedic. And like, but not dissing paramedics, but like without technology telling him that she has cancer, he's just like diagnosing her with all this stuff, the woman in the ambulance. So the truck crashes, or the ambulance crashes, and Leonard is decapitated. This is also, the guy who plays him is Paul McCrane, who was on ER. He was, what was his name in ER?
Didn't watch ER.
Dr. Romero. Dr. Romero.
Okay.
Courtney, did you watch ER?
I didn't watch it. I've seen like an episode or two here and there, but that's actually a show that we put into our pod of maybe for post X-Files.
Such a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was kind of a jerk on ER, his character, but so he's decapitated, dies from it. I feel like that shouldn't have to be, you know, spelled out.
Yeah, and I mean, does he though? Yeah.
So then he's in the morgue. His partner's all upset. They bring him to the morgue, and his body somehow breaks out of the morgue cold storage. And knocks out the morgue attendant there, steals his clothes, and escapes. And then we get the intro. So Mulder and Scully are at the morgue. Scully says something like, "Why are we here?" And Mulder makes the comment like, "Well, a guy without a head escaped." But Scully is skeptical that that's actually what happened. First, because it would be impossible. Well, obviously, it would be impossible for someone without a head to do anything.
Yeah. As a biologist, do you want to explain why? No.
But also because he was locked in the thing, which I feel like we don't ever get a great answer to. Like, I'd love to know like how he got out of there. But
yeah. Well, they found footprints on it, so I think he literally kicked the thing open.
Yeah, that
It
just sounds
reminds me of like in
impossible.
Kill Bill when she's trapped in the coffin and has to like punch her way out. Like it would be tough to bend your knee enough in one of those drawers to get enough force to drive your foot through it. But I mean, I guess if I'm gonna critique things about this episode, that probably shouldn't be where I focus my energy.
He also probably can grow a new knee if he breaks it, so he can probably apply more force than the average person.
That is a good point. He doesn't need to worry about protecting his body the way we do.
No, he can just put the full force of his body into it, and then if it's broken, he'll just fix it
Yeah,
later.
no biggie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting hypothesis. I like that. Um, so they visit the medical waste dumpster because the head is not present. And so they go like looking for the head. Uh,
I think they're trying to figure out where the body has been hidden because
right. Yes.
they assume, or Scully assumes, somebody stole the body, but no one was seen walking out with it. So it must be in this medical waste container.
Right. But they find the head. Um, and so Scully is going to examine it, autopsy wise. Um, but as she's about to start, the mouth and eyes both open. Very unsettling, I imagine.
I would
Um,
cry. If I was Scully, I would have started crying right at that moment.
yeah, I do like that she like kind of like startles and drops the scalpel. Like, I'm glad they
Yeah.
didn't have her play it totally cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I would. Yeah, crying would be a reasonable response. I would not. Well, and we'll get to what they do, which doesn't make any sense. But so Mulder goes to Betts's apartment, where he finds the discarded clothes from the morgue attendant, and he also has Betts has like a bathtub filled with iodine. Um,
I was only half paying attention and I assumed that was blood.
well, they later say that it's iodine. I don't know
Okay,
what
that
we were
makes more
supposed to assume at
sense.
first.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. But then we see as Mulder's leaving, we see Betts kind of start to rise out of the tub and he has a head now.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I wanted to mention there's this 1996 movie, so it would have come out around the same time as this, called Curdled. Did either of you ever see this movie, Curdled? It was like a black comedy crime film. Tarantino was involved but didn't direct it. Like his name was on it in like he helped promote it sort of way.
No, yeah, no, I don't know.
No, haven't heard of it.
There's like this woman, she's from Colombia and moves to the US and she's a crime scene cleaner. And then there's a serial killer that there's sort of a cat and mouse thing happening with, but they keep talking about it gets mentioned that like a head can still speak after being decapitated very briefly. And then that happens at the end of the movie where she decapitates the serial killer when he's trying to get her. And he like whispers her name, Gabriella, like as,
Ugh.
yeah.
Huh,
I thought it
no,
was
I've
really
never.
entertaining when I was a teenager, and as I'm describing it, it sounds really horrible. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that.
No,
Weird.
I
Like,
haven't either, but I'm kind of intrigued and want to watch it now.
Yeah, I mean, oh, it apparently is set in the same universe as From Dusk Till Dawn. So,
Huh.
what is
yeah.
that?
Oh, that's that Quentin Tarantino or not Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez.
Oh,
Both of them, written by Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Vampire movie, like Old West vampires.
oh, huh.
West, regular West, 90s West.
Just California. Like, just.
No, not all that far west. I don't know where it takes place.
Oh, okay.
Texas.
Oh, okay. Okay. No,
Okay.
I've never heard of that. Huh.
Oh, yeah. I guess you would have been too young to watch it. You
Yeah.
probably both were. Yeah.
Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn I've heard of though. I haven't seen it, but I've definitely heard of it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I recommend Curdled if you're in the mood for that. Oh, it's got one of the Baldwin brothers in it, William Baldwin, like a lesser Baldwin, a mystery Baldwin. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, that's weird.
He was in
Yeah.
oh, well, he was in two movies that connect with things we're talking about today because he was also in that Pyromaniac movie. Um
Really?
Yeah, what was the name of that? It was a really weird name, but I liked A Pyromaniac's Love Story.
I've never heard of that either.
I mean, I watched
No,
a
me
lot
neither.
of indie movies in the 90s. It was him and John Leguizamo and Sadie Frost, but I don't know who Sadie Frost is. Um,
Huh.
yeah, and so yeah, we have fire and we have decapitations. So William Baldwin is the connection. Like if there was a Venn diagram, it would have William Baldwin's career in the middle.
Weird.
I
Yeah.
love that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of literally anything else about him, so that's great.
Yeah, I think this is what I learned he existed was right now.
Yeah. There's just a lot of them, and I know
There's
like
so many.
Alec
Yeah.
and wait, does he go by Billy?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Oh, because
Oh,
maybe.
Helen, you know what he was in? What you always get confused about? He was in Flatliners.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen that, Courtney? Flatliners?
No. Well,
Oh,
okay, I've seen part of the new one, like the one that came out, I don't know, 2010s, I think. But I've never seen it start to finish, and I haven't seen the old one.
I used to watch the old one as a teenager, and it
Oh.
really freaked me
You
out. No,
think you did, and you didn't because you think Elijah Wood was in it, don't you?
no, I get it confused with something else, but I also used to watch
okay.
Flatliners.
Okay.
That's why
I'm
I
sorry
get
for
confused.
accusing you. I'm sorry.
No, I remember being in my teenage bedroom watching Flatliners.
No kidding.
I just also confuse it with another movie I watched as a teenager that did have Elijah Wood in it, not Lord of the Rings.
I think we
Um,
figured
Yes.
it'd be awesome if you mixed up Flatliners and Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings and Flatliners are very similar movies.
Yeah,
So
you're like Flatliners, the one with the ring wraiths.
the one with the elves, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Anyway, so Ben's rising from his bathtub full of iodine.
Yeah. So Mulder interviews his former partner, so the ambulance driver who was in the crash. And she's telling him a little bit more about Betts and tells him about his ability to detect cancer. And is talking about like how he should have been an oncologist. He was just so great at detecting cancer. But is just being, innocent about it or whatever. So Scully decides to polymerize his head. And this I have a lot of problems with for a lot of reasons. The main problem is that they don't do this. So
Well, yeah, they just don't.
yeah.
They're like, to describe it, because that's really all I have to offer. She says like it's basically like modern mummification,
Which
I
is
almost
not true.
mummization, but that's not that. And they like basically look like they're dipping it in hot wax, is what it looks like.
Right. And now what's interesting
Yeah.
is that actual hot wax, paraffin, can be used to preserve specimens that can then be sectioned. But this is not what they're doing. And so I don't know why they didn't just have them block it in paraffin and then slice it, or like cryo section it. Like we can slice tissue.
Can we cut heads into slices?
No, you'd need like a really giant microtome for that.
A really giant what?
A microtome, it's this machine that I used to use a lot. You put like a little block of preserved tissue, either embedded in paraffin, or they have these that are like frozen too. And then you turn a wheel, and the wheel cuts like teeny tiny thin sections of it, and then
Oh,
you
this
can
is
put,
effectively a meat slicer.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of.
yeah, yeah. And then you put
I guess.
yeah, yeah, effectively, yeah. And then you put it on a slide, and then you can like stain it and stuff. So like the blocks that I make / have made are, like a couple inches by a couple inches,
Yeah.
not like head size. So like this is maybe something where like I would go, well, in theory, but what they're doing is nonsense.
Okay.
I don't know, Courtney, if you have anything to add about sectioning or polymerizing
No,
heads.
that's pretty much it. I did want to note though, and this has just been a thing in this season, is Scully earlier called Mulder and said she did 4 PET scans.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I don't understand why she's doing PET scans on a dead head.
Yes. That is such a good point. Yeah. Before they end up doing this, because the video footage didn't show the head. So
it was cloudy, and I was like, well, yeah, because there's no activity presumably in this head.
Right, yeah. And so then she did a PET. Yeah, no, that is such a good point. I don't know why she would do that.
I mean, I wasn't why they were slicing it open, even if we accept that as a thing one can do. I didn't really get the motivation.
Well, I think their justification was that they did the PET scan, which didn't work, which was never going to work because the head's not thinking, but that's besides the point. So they're like, imaging's not working, so we have to go in manually and look at it.
But I also don't get why they couldn't just like proceed with the autopsy then and like get a biopsy or something.
I think Scully just has the ick, and she simply cannot autopsy this head after it blinked at her.
But she can dip it in stuff and then slice it.
Yes. Yes, slicing is fine, but just like regular autopsy is too far.
Yeah.
I will say, as someone who has worked with a lot of paraffin-embedded tissue, that it does feel slightly more removed. Like, you don't feel like you're like dealing with a chunk of a tumor. It's like, no, I'm just nicely slicing little things of tumors. Like, I don't know. It did make a difference for me. So maybe I get it.
Oh boy.
It's a different world.
Yeah. I don't slice things. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, you slice potatoes and stuff, but
I try to avoid it.
Really?
I do. I slice some vegetables, but I mostly leave that to Adam. Yeah, I find it too boring. Vegetables is really, really boring, and I just can't take it. So I do it when I have to.
Slicing vegetables is like my podcast time. I listen to podcasts while I'm doing it.
Oh, that's
not enough. I need more. I would need like like a parade or something. Like a past my window. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway.
So she polymerizes the head. Cuts it into sections. And they see that his like entire frontal lobe is basically glioma. So a glioma is a type of cancer. And it's when we have, it's a malignant tumor affecting glial cells. Glial cells are like supporting cells in nervous tissue, so not the neurons themselves that are sending the signaling, but ones that are still important for functioning. Okay. And his like entire brain is essentially glioma, that it's like just one big tumor. And they're asking like, you know, how long could he have lived with this essentially? And the guy is like, well, no, like no one could have lived with this at all. Like this is far past when this would have been acceptable. So Mulder has Chuck, who I can't remember if we've been introduced to yet.
We had. I looked up when. The Kalusari.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
He does the questionable analysis in the Kalusari of like the image, the photo of the like balloon drifting and the boy chasing it. And they think like there must be like an electromagnetic charge moving this balloon.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have him do this sort of Kirlian photography test, where like he's supposed to be looking at the aura present around the slice of head, which I just have like, I mean, too many problems to get into it, but like...
I was like, man, if you thought aura photography was goofy before, now do it on a slice of someone's disembodied head. And, you know, I don't know.
Like, why would it still have an aura? Like, but I guess that's the problem, is that it does, in fact, he finds.
Like, it shouldn't. Like, they're like, normally when we bring in a slice of head, it doesn't. Well, I know he's never dealt with human tissue before, he says, but...
Yeah. But they, like, put up the thing, and we see, like, a corona around it, including shoulders. So it, like, starts to have shoulders, which is when... this is where I got, like, stuck for a while because then Mulder starts talking about cancer, and I was like, no. So they've looked at this. They see it kind of has shoulders. They're like walking back, and he's like, well, what do you make of that, Scully? And she's like, I don't know what to make of any of that.
Yeah.
And okay, he says, what is cancer? But normal cells growing rapidly out of control. And he talks about how cancer is usually caused by some sort of damage to the DNA. That is correct. What if the cancer was not caused by damage, but was rather a normal state of being? And she says, but he's been decapitated, which is a good reason. Up. And Mulder says, but what if his chi guided his rapid growth, not as cancer, but as regeneration? Which is just wrong for a lot of reasons. He mentions salamanders, which we've actually talked about, not that.
Yeah. I love talking about salamanders.
Yeah. When were we? We were just talking about
the Fluke Man's physiology, I think.
Yes, when we were discussing Fluke Man versus, who was it in our matchup? Who was he against?
Pusher.
That's right. Pusher, yeah. So, yes, salamanders do regenerate. Scully points out that mammals don't do this, which is correct. Also, like, I don't know how to say this better than the fact that, like, that's just not how cancer works. Like,
how does cancer work?
So what happens is that, yes, there's some sort of damage to the DNA, and that damage can be from a lot of different causes, you know, like cigarettes, UV rays, but also viruses in the case of things like cervical cancer. Speaking of which, I just read, oh, you know what I'm going to say? I can't remember what country, but there's some country that like has like essentially cleared cervical cancers.
Yeah, like eradicated it because of the vaccine.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, was it Australia?
I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
I mean, just thinking about it, Australia kind of makes sense just because they're kind of geographically isolated.
I can't check because I have a screen setting. I have a setting on my phone to limit my social media access and also other things. And I forgot that I don't even remember what it was I was being paranoid about, but I set up a block so I cannot look at any websites with the word cancer in them, just because I have a habit of like any weird symptom I feel, I'm in bed at night Googling cancer and or Googling whatever random symptom. And then of course the first thing you read is cancer. So I have it, if a website is going to mention cancer, it gets automatically closed. And I made my husband set up the password to it and not tell me, so I can't change it.
That's great. I mean, that's really smart.
That's very smart.
I read Ask a Manager, this great advice column about work, and there was an update about someone whose coworker was faking cancer and how do they deal with that. And I was like, oh, I want to read this update, and I can't. It keeps closing.
It is Australia. They have not yet, but they are on track to be the first country to clear HPV-caused cancers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which I feel like we're like setting up a spectrum here. Like we've got Australia of like English-speaking former British colonies. We've got like Australia here doing that good work. Then we've got Courtney representing Canada, at least having like basic universal healthcare, and then we've got me and Liz on the America.
Details of the Canadian healthcare system. I'm sure it's not perfect, but I'm also sure it's better than ours.
It's absolutely not perfect, but from my understanding of the American system, we have kind of the same problems you do, except we don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. Like, yeah, people are always like, yeah, but if there was free healthcare, then you'd have to wait a long time. And it's like, what the hell do you think we're doing now?
Yeah, and I will say about the Canadian healthcare system is that you do have to wait a long time for a lot of things, but also when they need to act now, they do. Like I had a retinal detachment a few years ago, and like when I got that checked out, because I was like, hi, I'm in my early 20s and I cannot see out of one of my eyes randomly. I got in immediately to a specialist clinic, and then they did the scan, and they're like, we're sending you to surgery right now.
Wow.
So when they have to move quickly, they do move quickly. It's just more things that like are less time sensitive. You do have to wait quite a while.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, and again, I don't know, quite a while probably varies, but like nothing's happening fast here either for non-emergencies. So, yeah. I mean, so yeah, that's good to hear. Yay, Canada.
Good. Yay, Canada. Yay, Australia, too.
Yeah.
Good for you
Yeah.
guys.
So, so cancer though,
Yes.
as you're
So,
saying, caused, so there's some sort of mutation to DNA that
right.
is bad.
Right. And so the saying with cancer is that it's always genetic, not always hereditable. So you can't always, inherit it. It's not always genetic in terms of being passed from one generation to the next, but it's always genetic in origin. So there's always some sort of damage or some sort of cause for certain genes to turn on, certain genes to turn off, ones that are, regulating cell division are essentially what's being affected. And so then we have this uncontrolled cell growth in an area, which is then a problem for a lot of reasons. One is that it can spread, it takes up resources, it sometimes can divert blood vessels. This is all very simplified,
No, I mean, I don't want any more than this.
Yeah, Courtney, if you have anything to add as another biologist.
I mean, you would definitely know more than I do because like I said, I'm not a clinician and I don't work in biology. So my background is like undergraduate level.
I mean, yeah, but
Still more than me.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's possible that people who listen to this might not even be scientists. So yeah, I think there's a few people out there who aren't scientists. It's hard to pick.
But yeah, so it's not just like, woo, we can grow cells. Let's grow some
And you
cells.
can't just be like, cancer's not going to be like, how about I grow you a whole new head?
No, it would, right. Yeah. Cancer would be like, I'm going to grow more of this glial cell many times for no reason. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to grow some nose tissue and some bone and some, like epithelium. That's like a very different mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like they could have done this with like stem cells. I don't know how they would do it because I'm just doing this off the top of my head. But if he had some sort of stem cell abnormality, I think they could have done something really interesting with it.
Yeah, that is such a good point. Yeah, if he had some sort of, even like a cancer of stem cells, I'd buy a little bit more.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. I feel like I could like, or like a teratoma or something. Like
Yeah.
No, those are in my nightmare. No. I freaked out about them once on another podcast, not someone else's, thank God, but one of our episodes because I thought you were going to mention them and then you weren't, but I had already freaked out.
That's right. Well, you pre-freaked out in anticipation.
I was ready.
I
could sense them. Yeah.
I don't have more to say about them though.
Good. We're gonna move.
No, same.
Yeah. So it turns out that they run his fingerprints. He was at one point called Albert Tanner. And so they find his mom, who they say something about his recent death, and his mom is like, "What is recent?" Because he died in a car accident 6 years previously.
Right.
So the other paramedic, Wilkes, she hears Betts over like her radio. So she's in her ambulance, she's working, she overhears him like giving good advice to another paramedic. And so she tracks him down coming out of another hospital and confronts him. And he injects her with potassium chloride and kills her. Which I just like, I don't know, like up until this point I wanted to be like, well, sure, you want to avoid weird questions. You can just be some weird guy that regenerates stuff and, but no, then he murders her. So.
Yeah. And is it before or after that they find the like, oh, it's maybe right after they find Mulder and Scully find the cooler full of cancerous tumors and medical waste?
Oh, yeah.
Might have been
that's right after this.
It's right after, yeah.
Because I was thinking this guy could be like, I was just talking about in our last episode that just came out today, the day we were recording, that Toombs, it's too bad that he couldn't just be like, hey, you got any old livers I could eat? Like, I feel like Betts is doing his best to do that, but then he murders his former coworker, and it's like, well, okay, so he's not great. All right.
Yeah, I'm no longer like on his side as, Yeah,
not as much.
that also, yeah. So he's captured by a security guard after he kills Wilkes.
Right. Yeah.
And he's handcuffed to the car, but then he tears off his thumb in order to escape the handcuffs because he can just grow a new one.
Yeah.
And so they search his car the next morning, which is when they find all those tumors in a cooler in the trunk. And so Mulder thinks that Betts is like living on the tumors, and that, and again, not enough time to go over why you can't just eat a tumor and have it. I don't even know what the goal is in this case.
There's a lot of X-Files episodes that seem to imply if you eat this, it will directly be used in your body, like that melanin vampire episode also had. Yeah. And again, I clearly, as we've established previously, do not understand the stomach, but I do know it's not just like I eat a lot of broccoli and now I'm going to be green and broccoli shaped. I don't know.
Yeah. Mulder also, this is when he brings up evolution in a way that is also wildly wrong.
This was a popular thing in the 90s, though. I was thinking about this because he's talking about how
punctuated equilibrium.
So what I got out of this is that evolution is not like a slow process, but there can be big changes real fast. And that is the idea in the book Relic by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, this 90s thriller that scared the hell out of me in the 90s.
Really? I mean, I knew that about the book, but I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah. Yeah, that there's like this theory.
Huh. Punctuated. So Mulder is proposing essentially that, like, because cancer is such a problem to modern humans, that Betts has essentially like found a way to evolve so that it's like part of him. And he talks about punctuated equilibrium, which is what you described, this idea that like things happen in like leaps and bounds as opposed to over gradual time. And the problem, there's a few problems with this. That is what the theory suggests, and there is some evidence for punctuated equilibrium. Now, some of the evidence for it is us just lacking fossil record for things. So like some of the things like, oh, suddenly we just have this animal. It's like, well, no, actually, like, we're just missing parts of the fossil record because that was so long ago. Also, when we're talking about things on an evolutionary timeline in terms of like species evolution, we're talking about like way more than, I don't know, how old is Betts? I think they say he's like 34. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
It's the 90s. His mom was normal. Like, we're not talking about like one person being, and punctuated equilibrium. The idea is that like it happens, that there has to always be a response to the environment. That's the deal with evolution, is that it's change in who survives given environments. And so it's like, it just doesn't work.
It does seem weird because it doesn't seem like it's very easy for him to survive if he has to like eat all of these tumors and stuff. This episode is disgusting.
Also, my question about this more than anything, if we just accept the premise, sure, that's how he is, how did he figure out that he had to eat tumors? Like, what was the first tumor he ate?
Oh my God.
That is the right question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is. Oh God, I'm sorry. I don't even know if I should tell this story. I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to make you guys listen to it. But if you want to skip ahead,
I just got to say, if you tell me you ate.
No.
Okay.
What happened was I was working in gynecology and I was spending a lot of time having to section tumors and like would have to cut them into smaller pieces in order to put them in the blocks. As we discussed, the blocks are pretty small. And so I was relatively familiar with like the texture of them from having to cut them so much. And
you're about to ruin a food for me, aren't you?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me, and it's just like.
No, what it's just like is I had a dream that I was eating tumor.
Oh.
And I was chewing on my cheek.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that is messed up.
Yeah.
one of the most horrible things I've ever heard.
It was pretty horrible to live.
Yeah, yeah, God, I bet.
And for the record, if you just skipped ahead, I have not done anything wrong. I just want to be clear. This involves a dream I had. I have not done anything weird.
People who skipped ahead 30 seconds and are now like, Helen is a monster.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure why, but I know it's true.
There's definitely weird tumor things happening.
Yes. Um, so, uh, so they find out the car is registered to his mom. And so they're like, okay, so maybe she's not as clueless about all this as she pretends to be. And so they have the police search her house. And she talks about how, like, he was different as a child, he was bullied, and that, you know, he must not have, but if he killed anyone, he must have had his reasons. And then, meanwhile, Betts is in a bar and kills someone again in order to get his cancerous lung. Which, again, like, I was rooting for you, and now it's just all over. And we see him then later in a storage unit. This is the part you were originally talking about, Liz. He, like, essentially sheds his body and creates a duplicate. So we see, like, a head, like, erupting kind of out of his mouth, out of his head. And it's pretty gross. I agree.
Yeah. Like, I've not done hallucinogenic drugs, but I imagine if someone were to do hallucinogenic drugs and watch this episode, they would never be okay again. I would have to imagine.
Yeah. So they eventually locate the storage unit, and the, like, new Betts, the duplicate, tries to flee. But eventually explodes when they fire upon it, and theoretically kills him. But, you know. Yeah. Scully suggests that his first death, when he was still going by Albert Tanner, was staged. But when they exhume, they go and exhume the casket that supposedly held his body, they find his body still inside. And so we know, right, that he can, like, shed his entire being, and so that's what it is. So Mulder then thinks that this is what's happening, is that he can not only regenerate body parts, but his entire body. So he thinks Betts is still at large and didn't actually die in the crash. And they have, like, two bodies, essentially, that they're looking at. And Scully makes a comment like, oh, it could just be, you know, identical twins, which seems a little naive at this point. But...
And then the triplet is just running around, I guess.
Yeah. So Betts is with his mom and removes a cancerous tumor from her body. And Mulder and Scully are already staking out her house, and the paramedics arrive because she has him remove the cancerous tumor and then call an ambulance.
Yeah.
And Scully goes with the mom, Elaine, I believe is her name, to the hospital, and Mulder searches the neighborhood. But once they get to the hospital, Scully realizes that Betts has, like, stowed himself away on the roof of the ambulance. And he locks her inside with him. And he tells her, like, very calmly, he's trying to explain to her. What's that?
You have something I want.
Yeah.
You have something I need.
You have something I need. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And after a struggle, Scully ends up killing him. She presses defibrillator pads to his chest, and is just kind of stunned then, like, what do I have that he needs? And then in her apartment later, she wakes up with a cough and a nosebleed.
And as my sister likes to say, a nosebleed in media is the universal sign of cancer.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
according to my sister, yes.
That's
kind of like how in an old-timey movie, there's somebody's going to cough and there's going to be blood and it's going to be TB. Like,
yeah,
if anyone coughs in an older movie, in a period movie, then it means that they have TB. Yeah, I think if they have a nosebleed in modern times, I could absolutely see that. Because I mean, we know watching this that this leads into the whole arc of Scully having cancer that was caused by the implant that she had when she was abducted.
Mhm.
What did your sister think when you got to this point?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, so in season 3, we meet the like group of women who all talk about how they've all got cancer from their implants, right? So that nugget was already in Hannah's brain that existed. So when this happened, I mean, she basically was like, "So does Scully have cancer from her abduction?" Like she put those pieces together pretty quickly.
Okay.
And I was like, "Well, I guess you'll have to find out." But yeah, she had enough info of how foreshadowing in shows works that she pieced that together. Her biggest thing is she was impressed that they carried that through line through the show, because the show isn't always great at like carrying their own plots forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now a lot going on.
We just have a few minutes before we have to go, but we need to discuss who would win in a fight. Who's gonna win? We've got Leonard Betts.
So let me remind everybody, because we've now got Betts very firmly in our heads. I want to talk about Cecil Lively for a moment and his situation. He's definitely not a cool guy. He's seems pretty malevolent, and he is like travels over with this like rich British family because he can set fires with his mind, but he does seem to need an accelerant. Like he paints the house. He's pretending he kills the caretaker, pretends to be the caretaker of this mansion where this British family is staying. He paints the walls with jet fuel so that it's super flammable, and then he can start the fires but can't seem to fuel them, or at least not all the time. Because he also does like a trick in a bar where he starts a fire on his fingertip and then his whole arm is engulfed in flames. And we see other things where he is like completely on fire and then becomes okay. So he can start fires and he can also withstand fire. Unlike, I don't know, I feel like a traditional pyrokinetic is just starting the fire with your mind, but he also has like fire resistant properties.
Now, my question is, do we feel like Leonard Betts is dead? Like, can he be killed? Because I feel like that's the question here, is like, could anything even kill this guy?
Well, it looks like Scully kills him at the end of the episode, right?
Do we think so? Because that was like the last one of him? Like, is that what
had time to make a new copy? I don't know, but then he gets up and he walks out. Oh, well, here's a question. The one that's on fire, the one that's exploded, that particular one is not getting up and walking around, right?
Right.
Yes, because the first one died in a fire, essentially, right?
The one that in the explosion, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then also, I don't know if this is a relevant path to go down, but one assumes and this is so gross, I'm sorry, if you set fire to a bunch of medical waste or tumors or cancerous things, it would burn. Yes? Right?
Yeah. I mean, like,
right? Yeah.
Cremation. I mean, you can burn all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I mean,
that's how they dispose of it. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I feel like if Cecil Lively, he seems to be able to survive being burned, and Betts does maybe, but not as definitively. This is a hard one, I think.
Betts, though, he kills people by relatively normal ways. So I don't know, like, he would have to presumably inject him with something. Like, he'd have to get close enough to Cecil, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Cecil could kill him from a distance, where like he could be across the room and start Betts on fire, whereas Betts would have to get close to Cecil to kill him because he doesn't have any special killing powers. He just has special not dying powers.
I feel like both need external resources, though, because Cecil needs, like you said, some sort of accelerant. I don't think he can just light Leonard on fire if he doesn't have some form of accelerant, and then Leonard, he needs whatever he's going to use to kill somebody with.
So, like, maybe Cecil has like a water gun full of jet fuel. Is it like a super soaker so you can really get him from a distance? Um,
And I think we've talked about like intent before because like the Eves we decided would have much more intent than to kill
Hmm.
DPO than DPO would have to kill the Eves. So like I feel like Cecil would maybe do it just for fun, whereas Beth seems like, he didn't want people to learn his secret. He didn't, so like I don't know
doesn't
how hard
seem
he'd try.
vicious, but I mean, also, again, the fundamental problem with this matchup idea is that it hinges on I think, two demented podcast hosts forcing these people to fight. I'm just imagining us being like, hey, Bets, so here's a photo of Cecil Lively. You're going to want to kill him.
But
Do what you want to do.
didn't we decide too that it would be like they would encounter each other in a relatively neutral way? Because we talked about this again with like the Eves and DPO.
Yeah. Oh, I think I said O'Hare in Chicago because O'Hare is a big hub, so it would be convenient. But I don't know
Yeah,
that you accepted that.
I don't remember either. But I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards Cecil Lively. I think that is my inclination.
I
Is
think I
there any sort of sorry, is there any sort of time frame on this? Because I feel like Cecil would win in the short term. Like I think he could burn Leonard and then like Leonard might regenerate, but it takes him some time to do that. So is there any like you burned him so you won, or is there like a waiting period to see if he comes back?
an interesting question. And like, does it even count if he comes back? Let's say he comes
Yeah,
back. Presumably, Cecil can light him on fire again.
that's true. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he certainly has time to go buy more jet fuel to put in his super soaker or whatever.
I can't remember. Did Cecil light people on? Is that how he killed people? Like I can't
He,
remember how he killed
he,
the.
I think he said the caretaker, I think he killed the caretaker in some other way because his body was buried in the yard. Um,
I
he,
think most of the time he would like light the room on
yeah,
fire for most people. He
yeah.
didn't burn them directly.
He would light himself on fire for kicks,
Hmm.
as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
But I think other people, he was mostly lighting their surroundings on fire. So yeah,
yeah. I'm leaning towards giving this round to Cecil, but
yeah. I
I
think
would be open to changing my mind if one of you felt strongly the other way.
yeah, I do feel like this is a much closer matchup than a lot of the ones we've talked about.
Yeah,
Um,
Courtney, who would you give it to? Who would you put
I'm
your money on?
torn, but I think probably Cecil. I feel like if nothing else, it's Cecil's just bigger than Leonard. So if they just went to fist fighting because he
yeah,
didn't have an accelerant and Leonard doesn't have a weapon, I think he might win.
That's another good point.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Liz, do you have
yeah.
what's your?
I'm gonna go with Cecil Lively as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I want to mention the matchup that we have for next week so people can think about that. Um, oh, yeah, okay, so we get yeah, but I'll pause. So for official, we're declaring Cecil Lively the winner of the Betts v Lively fight.
Yes, I believe we are.
Okay, cool. Then up next, we have Jerry Schnauz, who is from Unruh.
Oh,
The dude with the stilts, very creepy, howlers, etc. Really don't care for him. Versus Terry and Margie from Syzygy, the two teenage girls.
Ooh.
this is another one where like I know who I want to win.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll assume that like because at the end of that episode, it's kind of like the day has passed. It was their birthday, and they had all these like planets in alignment and whatever astrology BS is like aiming at them. And then they're kind of normal after that. We will assume they're in full chaos planetary focus on them mode at the height of their
They
power.
have the planets helping them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
So it'll
Well,
be Terry and Margie versus Jerry Schnauz.
and Courtney, do you want to give your information once again so people can follow you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, our podcast is That Nostalgia Show. We are, I think, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. My sister deals with that, but I think we're everywhere. Um, spoiler free. So if it's your first time going to the X-Files and you just want to listen to somebody talk about it, then we will not spoil what happens beyond the point that we're talking about. We are on Instagram at That Nostalgia Pod. We have a Gmail, thatnostalgiashow@gmail.com, and we're on Blue Sky at That Nostalgia Show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you. And if you have thoughts about our next matchup, feel free to share them with us.
Let us know and share them.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
We Want to Believe is hosted by Helen Werner and Liz Holden. It's produced by Zach Werner. The We Want to Believe theme music was created and recorded by Zach Werner. Find us at wewanttoBelievePod.com, on Instagram at wewanttoBelievePod, or send us an email at wewanttoBelievePod@gmail.com.